Hey everybody, welcome to BODS Mayhem Hour. I'm your host, John the Bod, aka the Bod Father, with my lovely co-host,
Krystal.
as always. We will bring you guys awesome interviews, and today it is an honor and privilege to have Mr. Peanut on the line. He's the bassist of 311. They have a new album that's out right now called Mosiac, and this is their 12th studio album. And for me, it's hard to imagine that 311's been around that long, and that's pretty damn cool, because I remember when they first came out, and I was young. Yeah, I remember it. But, Peanut, how's it going?
Good. Just out on the road, kind of getting our feet wet, enjoying the ride, missing the kids, but loving seeing the happy faces and playing like 7 to 9 new songs from this 12th album is super, super fun. You know, it's easy to get excited about newness in a band that's as old as we are.
Jump right into this, man. What's impressed you the most about making the new album Mosaic? What's caught your eye about, if anything? What's impressed you about it?
I think we took some risks, some necessary risks to get out of our normal habits, and letting go and introducing more writers into the scene really helped us focus our ideas, because we've done the same thing so much. So you get caught into a routine, and there's so much intelligence and songwriting skill in the Los Angeles area and the world in general that it's kind of cool to just work with other people and see what happens. Collaborating is where it's at.
Was it hard for you guys to say, to let go of the reins a little bit, to bring in some other collaboration on this?
Yeah, for sure. There was a big let go, and John Feldman told us exactly that. He was like, "You're going to have to let go a little bit. You know, you're going to have to trust me." And I think it was the first time we really ever did it, even though working with like Hugh Padgham and Bob Rock and Eddie Offord and Ron St. Germain, we've had a hard time our whole careers kind of letting go. And maybe where we could be nudged into some situations, this was a full-on, like, close your eyes and jump in the pool. And I think it came out great. It was really fun. Feldman knows us better than anybody, as we've known each other for 20 plus years. So it's pretty cool to work outside of our group. And I think it only makes our relationships inside of the group better, because, I don't know, it reflects back.
This album was produced by John Feldman, who's worked with Blink-182 and Panic at the Disco, and Scott Ralston, who's produced 311's iconic Transistor sound system and Stereolithic albums. How did you like working with them?
It's great. I mean, Scotch is out on the road with us now. He's pretty much a sixth member of the band, although don't tell him, because he'll ask for more money. But Feldman did the last 5 songs on the album, and we wrote them in a little over 2 weeks. And it was like a whirlwind of new ideas, kind of new ingredients, a new kitchen, new people to cook for. I don't know. There were all these new great ideas floating around. So it was fun, caffeinated, this explosion of newness.
Scotch may not want more money. He just may want a mic and be out there and jam with you guys,
Hey, he's having fun, I think. As long as he can ride his bike around every sound, every town, and then be a little bit late for sound check, he's a happy man.
Now, I know you guys done this for a very long time, but recording this album with these guys, did they push you guys a little bit extra harder on this album, possibly?
Yeah, for sure. It was the first time I've ever seen anybody talk to Nick and Essay like that. It was hilarious. It's exactly what they needed to kind of get loose and let go of any inhibitions while writing and laying down vocal tracks, because the vocals, more than anything, are the emotional impact of the band, whatever band you're listening to, unless they don't have vocals. So you got to deliver in that moment, and John was right there, kind of shoving them in the right direction, trying to get what he wanted, and then showing us afterwards like a finished tattoo. Like, I know you couldn't tell what it was when we were starting, but now that it's done, isn't it great? And it was cool to work like that. Scary, though.
Are there any songs off the Mosaic album, Peanut, that stand out more to you than any on it, possibly?
We're playing so many of them. Like I said, we're playing like 7 or 9 of the new songs a night out of the 17 on the album. So I'm just enjoying kind of them all getting better the more we play them all. Extension has been my longest favorite song, just because it's kind of in our playbook already, but you can kind of tell that we're like out for blood. So it's a nice aggressive side of us still doing our reggae rock.
Yeah.
It's something that's really dear to us.
And it's awesome. I like your guys' style of music. I was telling Krystal, I sing Amber, I go, whoa. That's one of my favorite songs by you guys. I really dig that song.
How much growth musically do you feel 311 has gone through over the years?
We've gone through a bunch, and we kind of started out at I think a pretty high level. One of our oldest ideas about having a band was that we wanted musicians to like us. So we pushed ourselves really hard to be worthy of that kind of position. So, and we always kind of thought if musicians still liked us, then we'd always have a fan base, kind of like the jazz nerds and metal guys on a much bigger landscape. There's an audience always for certain types of music, and anything that gets musicians kind of stoked will have a long lasting impact, and maybe not a long career, but you got to hope for the best. And we've been really lucky in that front. So being good at what we do was one of the reasons why we first got signed. Capricorn Records came out and saw us in Omaha and saw how we lit up the stage and wanted us to just go on the road and do the same thing all over the country. So when they gave us a contract, that's kind of what they told us was going to go on, and we proceeded to do 2 or 3 years of 120 shows a year and kind of built it up nice and slow. And we feel like we're kind of on that mission again.
Yeah, and correct me if I'm wrong on this, Peanut, but did you guys come out just a little bit after Korn, or was it right around when Korn came out?
I think it was a little before, but it was certainly the same time.
Right.
Same influences, different bend on it, obviously. Us, the Deftones, and Korn kind of all came out at the same time.
See, that's what I'm saying. You guys all came out right around the same time, and you guys are still going. That speaks a lot for your guys' music and your fan base, too.
Yeah, it does. We listen to our fans. We also do what we want. It's a delicate balance of the two. It really is. We've got to be aware of who we are in other people's eyes, which is kind of impossible. And then we've also got to be true to ourselves, which is also a confusing labyrinth of mental gymnastics. So it's fun to have this long of a conversation with this large of a group of people that want us to keep saying what we're saying and playing what we're playing. So it's a dream come true. It really is. And I'll take the ups and downs as they come. What's the alternative?
Now, I want to throw this in here just a little bit, and then Krystal can do the next one. But this album cover from Mosiac, it's got 10,000 of your guys, fans, photos of you guys in this album cover, plus the pictures of you guys are pictures that fans have. What led you guys to incorporate this for the fans, man?
It's just a reflection of how thankful we are of being around this long, and like I've been saying, just having this conversation with the same people who love what we do and allow us to speak our mind and explore these musical ideas and get dark if we want to get dark, or make a pop song if we want to make a pop song, or jam out. It's great. We've got a big vocabulary musically and philosophically, and our audience reflects that and encourages us to keep exploring all these big ideas, either with our hands or our minds. So the least we can do is ask them to send in photos of themselves for no reason, and then reveal that we're putting them on the album cover. It's been really fun, and it'll continue to be fun for years, hearing people say, I'm in your leg, or I'm on your hat, or whatever in the photo. And it's cool because you don't even have to zoom in that far at all to really pick out what's going on in the photo and see these faces. It could be micro dots, of course, and it would be sharper. But I love that it's a nice balance between lo-fi and high def, where you can understand what's going on, but it's still kind of chunky.
What do you hope your fans take away from this new album?
The fans, I hope they take away that we still got more tricks, that we're not just repeating ourselves, that we're still excited about what we're doing, and we're excited that they're excited that we, feel like we're kind of pointing it in the right direction. So I hope they think we've still got a lot of experiments and tricks in our bag.
What can fans expect at a show from the Mighty 311 Peanut when they come out to see you guys live?
We're playing tons of new music on this tour, especially in the summer of 2017. It's so fun to have such good new music that we want to really support. Because other than that, we're kind of, we're singing 20-year-old songs in a lot of cases, and that's okay because we're a 27-year-old band. But we've got to be leaning forward. I saw Iron Maiden, probably like a 38-year-old band last year, and they played a ton of new stuff, and I thought it was great, and the crowd was all along with it, and it really kind of put my head in that space. Like, we got to lean forward, or we're just going to be kind of supporting past victories. Let's keep it alive. Let's keep high-fiving the 15-year-old inside of ourselves.
Yeah, I mean, because when you talk about like Iron Maiden, I mean, they've got a longevity of a career, but yeah, when they can add new additional stuff plus throw in some of the old stuff, but have newer stuff, that speaks volumes, man, for a band.
Yeah, it does. And the fan base is along for the ride. Yeah, like, what do you have for us next? And like, we love it. Keep it coming, And I love that old jam. That's my old jam. But it's not all old jams. There's a laser pointing towards the future that has no end.
What's your take on the digital era that we're in regards to music?
I love it in all kinds of ways. Change is hard. So I think it's awkward for some people, but I don't know. I like fully taking advantage of it, learning about new musicians like Grandson, and falling in love with like this LA scene, this dreamy kind of. Who even knows what's going on in some of these people's heads? It's just amazing. I love to kind of drift off and let Apple Music tell me what I'm gonna like next, because for some reason it knows better than me.
Plus, with the digital era, though, you can get music out there a lot quicker if you're a band, if you want to do it that way, instead of getting a producer and things like that as well.
Yeah, there's the whole SoundCloud artist kind of supporting system, and then of course you can just throw it on YouTube, but it's such a din. But there I was in New York City this morning going to have breakfast with my family, and there's this lineup around the block, and we ask people, like, what's going on? They're like, oh, it's some YouTuber. I'm like, oh my gosh, some YouTuber. That could be anything.
Yeah, that's true. That's crazy,
and it's huge.
Man.
So it's crazy.
Jeez, I'm going to be on YouTube.
Yeah, let's start a YouTube channel.
Let's do
it. What's fun in the digital era is still kicking ass on stage is still the best thing that you can do, no matter what.
So support-wise, Peanut, is there a country or region that stands out more to you or surprises you that you get a lot of support from that area?
We went to Indonesia about 5 years ago. We played Jakarta, and there was about 4,000 people there. And I've never heard Come Original sang louder back to us.
Wow.
In all these years since '99 when we wrote it.
So
that really blew me away. It was incredible. It was so cool. Like, I had to take my my in-ear monitors out. I was like, what's going on? I'm like, oh my gosh, they're having the time of their lives.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that blew me away. But the endless support in the United States is what really keeps this band going. So as much as I want to lift up the international territories and get them going again, which I really think we do need to do, I need to be really thankful for what we have here in the States and this endless support we get from these kids.
That's very true. Very true. Because the way social media is right now, and people putting out EPs, their mind frame is just gone in an instant. It's like, oh, look, 311, and bam, over here to something else. It's that short of a time stamp, pretty much. It's sad.
It is. It's crazy.
What do you feel is the most unique thing about 311's music?
The individuals, where we came from, who we are, is definitely a unique mixture, but it doesn't make it any more unique than anybody else's band. I mean, I know the details of our band, so I can kind of opine on it, and I can make it sound different, but we're all uniquely different in our way, and I don't know, just this recipe has worked for us. The fact that that it's lasted this long is incredible. We are and we aren't perfectionists in some cases, and we balance each other out in infinite ways. I don't know. It's we're quirky. We're lucky to have been able to pull off what we want to do, and individually and collectively, and then have an audience care at all. Is just, that's the thing that makes us special. Is that we've had this lucky recipe of individuals, both on stage and out in the audience, that have made it work.
Is there a show or moment for you that stands out more than any possibly, or even a big event or anything like that being part of 311 that sticks out to your mind more than any?
Not one and the same, and not instantly, not right off the bat. It's really kind of a big soup of events that are just awesome. It's the whole life kind of just flashes in front of my eye when I think about big questions like that. So it's really everything. I like the long play. I've been married for 16 years. I've been in this band for 27. I like long-term relationships. It's all about how will it end, and not how soon will I self-destruct, because I won't let that happen.
Exactly.
What first made you want to become a musician?
My brother playing the saxophone in his room, playing the Imperial March, made me want to manipulate sound and do it whenever I wanted to too. It's like, I want to hear the Imperial March. I'm going to pick up my bass and play it.
That's awesome. So are you digging the new Star Wars stuff right now at all? I mean, do you like Star Wars?
Yeah, I love all the Star Wars stuff. I actually have been putting off until my 6-year-old son is a little older on seeing Rogue One. And I think we are going to see Episode 8, because that's like my favorite director, one of my favorite directors. And of course, his name's going to escape me right when I say that, but he did Looper, and he did a movie called Brick. I really think this is like his 3rd or 4th film, and he's doing one of the 9 chapters of the Star Wars original, epic. So it's crazy. I'm super stoked.
I think it's crazy they said they're going to do a movie every year of Star Wars, and I was like, come on, don't ruin this. Come on.
Yeah, that's a little much.
Yeah, come on, dude.
But it makes up for us having to wait 20 years for anything. I like the idea of a young Han Solo. That sounds interesting. I'd play that card if I was Disney CEO. I'm like, fuck yeah, boom, young Han Solo, blammo. And there's a shitload of people that would see that movie.
Suck it, Lionsgate.
Yeah.
Oh, man, if you could work with any musician, dead or alive, or any band that's out there right now, possibly other than 311, who would it be for 1 or 2 days? Who would you choose?
It'd probably be running into the Deftones again. I feel such a kinship with those guys, coming up in the same era and having a fan base similar. They're, of course, on the darker side, but it's, our audience balances each other out in such a cool way, and I love watching them play. We had them on our powwow festival. They headlined one night, and it was like the ground opened up and let out the perfect musicians.
Deftones is badass. I mean,
I love them.
Yeah,
They make me
Chino's
choke up. I'm like, oh, that's good.
Chino's voice, dude. When it hits you, it's like, oh shit. I mean,
yeah, it's for real. They mean it. I love how it doesn't really. I don't know. It has more feeling than concrete. Like, this is what I'm talking about. It's more like Tool than pop music, of course. And how fun that must be for those musicians and that audience to kind of be in that cloud together, where so many other artists and lyricists need to spell everything out or think that their audience needs to have everything piecemealed to them. Chino's just, you'll know what I mean, because this is how it feels. And that's one of the best parts of music.
Yeah, I've got to see them live a couple of times, and Deftones is badass. That's just...
Yeah, it kills.
And I'm going to say this right now, folks. 311 has been around since, I mean, right around when Korn came out, right? Am I right about that? Right around?
Yeah, a little bit before, maybe a tiny bit. Who knows?
So,
Same definite general area.
So, I mean,
we played with them when we were on our 2nd album, and they were on their 1st album. So, but they still might have been in Bakersfield getting everything started. There's a show we played with the Deftones and Korn in San Diego a million years ago. I think in '93 even. that was just one of the coolest events. If you ever get a chance to time travel, I recommend going to the Soma in '93 and seeing that show. It was incredible.
YouTube
it.
John,
First, we got to invent a time machine.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
We can do that.
Thanks for pulling that out too there, Krystal. You have my back.
I want the time machine.
What's it mean to you guys when you receive an email from a fan or prior to the shows or after the shows, they tell you that 311's music has pulled them through a bad experience, gave them inspiration, overcome obstacles, or it's just made them to relax with the everyday bullshit, Peanut, that we all go through and escape for a while? What's that mean to you all?
It means the world. That gets me out of bed. That gets me on the tour bus. That helps me put my fatherhood, responsibilities on hold, more or less, outside of FaceTime, which is not really fatherhood. I could do that from jail, but that's what it's all about. That's what it's all about. That's the intangible in this band, and that we have that I don't know how many other bands have, but we have in spades. Like, just people love the way that we've pulled them through problems and helped them out, and most of the time I'm like, well, we're just a mirror. If you didn't already understand what we're saying, then it wouldn't resonate with you whatsoever. So if we were the rope that you use to pull yourself out, we're super thankful, but that strength was inside you already, and we want people to feel empowered by their own search for what's right for them and what feels good, and not destroying anybody else on the way. So I don't know, to find those feelings in a band and have an audience that wants to hear those messages is super important to us, and that's just us being ourselves.
I'd just like to say, as a fan over the years of 311's music, thank you guys for what you do, because it's cool to put on your guys' record and hear something a little different that's not out there, even today right now. I think that you guys are in a class of your own, so thanks, man.
Well, it's super cool to hear. We love being different enough that we're not like everybody, and that also we can get played on the radio, with flat bass and a drum corps drummer and a deadhead on guitar and our singers that have so many influences I couldn't even tell you. So it's incredible. It's a dream. It's a total dream, and when it stops, I'll still be thankful.
Krystal, you want to add anything?
I also want to say thank you, and I really love 311. I have for a very long time, so I'm the same age that your band is.
Cool. No way, that's great. Well, thank you for saying so. It was super fun talking with you guys.
Peanut, before I let you go, how can folks stay in touch with you guys, buy some merchandise, tour dates? How can they do that?
You can go to www.311.com. I heard we have a 311 app that's just been launched. I haven't seen it for myself, but I heard it's out there. And that's a good way to do it, too, because, I don't know, it'd be easier to access. And then you can talk to Nick on Twitter at Nick Hexum, and you can talk to me at Peanut, P-N-U-T, on Twitter. I'm on Facebook as Aaron Wills. I like to respond. I like to communicate as per this interview. And I hope the best for your continued broadcast success.
I appreciate that, man. Would you care to do a promo for the show?
No, let's do it. Hey, I'm Peanut from 311, and you're listening to BODS Mayhem Hour.
Everybody stick around. We got some great music coming up, and you only hear these interviews right here on BODS Mayhem Hour and Uber City Radio. For my lovely co-host,
Krystal.
We'll see you next week. Thanks, Peanut.
Hell yeah. Talk to you soon.